Well, good morning. It's Randytbird. Just getting ready to go. As you can see, my beautiful heritage softail here. 6:30 in the morning. It's time to go. Well, good morning, all. Randytbird out here in Arizona. Early in the morning on a Sunday morning. Last day of April. Been a momentous month for me out here. Anyway, I'm happy to get April behind me here. So today I'm going to do something a little different than my usual vlog like I did yesterday. I'm very fond of a certain stretch of highway that I ride a lot, and but today I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to show you my commute. And I know you're thinking here, why do anybody want to see my commute? Well, we'll see in a few minutes, and I'll show you the beauty of Arizona out here and what I get to see on my way to work in the mornings. It's a long drive, but it's very picturesque, and we'll see you in a little bit. Alright, I've skipped through some of the more mundane parts of the ride here on my commute, and I'm just starting to come to the really cool part of it. As you can see, the mountains ahead, we're going to cut right through those. I'm on the 202 South Mountain Freeway, as they call it here, and normally in the mornings I'm out about 7 in the morning, 6:30, 6:45, something like that, headed to work, and it's skirting on the south end of the Phoenix metro area here, and coming up to I-10, and I-10 will take you north and south, or east and west, depending on how you're reading the road signs, southwest, northwest, as it goes on to California and goes east to Texas and other points east. But anyway, this freeway is probably the lightest traveled freeway in the metro area. In the morning, there's a few trucks out here, and during the week, and sometimes some rather speedy vehicles out here because it is wide open. And here we're crossing under I-10, and all these crossovers here and high pylons and highway. It's kind of weird when you're crossing over that, knowing that you're that high. I just try to ignore that. I don't do well with heights, but I ignore it, focus on the road, and not really worry about, you know, that whole whatever phobia it is. So and anyway, as we start through here, the exits get a little farther apart, and we're going to go right through the pass up here over these mountains. Very nice. Of course, here on a Sunday morning early, there's little to no traffic out here, and it's beautiful. It's never really super crowded out here anyway, but it's a good way to skirt the central part of the valley and the I-10 corridor and everything, which is always crowded and jammed up with commercial trucking. And anyway, it's a nice picturesque drive, as we can see coming up to the Estrella mountain range, and on our right coming up will be the South Mountain range. As you can see, you could see until we hit that wall, that walled area there. That's the sound diversion walls that they put up. I'm not sure it does anything other than just give a place for all the tire dust and the dust and the pieces falling off the cars to stay on the freeway. It's a nice morning out here. It's probably right around 70 degrees. A little cool for us desert dwellers to be wearing a t-shirt, but I got the fairing here on the Heritage, and that blocks enough wind that I'm not freezing here. So I know you're probably laughing at people saying it's cold at 70, but you know, when you live in the desert, you know, your blood is very thin. I really love this view out here. It's something that I've always enjoyed. This winter we had a couple storms come through, and that range to my left, it had snow across all the peaks there, the highest one being 2,900 feet elevation, but they had snow to all of them. And looking to the south, that goes all the way down the ranges. The one in the distance is before you get to Casa Grande, Arizona, and it then beyond that, it was, you know, down towards Tucson, Picacho Peak, and all of that. That ride has some nice areas, but for the most part, it's just truck central and a lot of wind buffeting and low desert until you get down around Picacho Peak. It's pretty uneventful. Takes me, this is about 35 miles to work going this way. I could go and shave several miles off of that on my commute, but that's all through all of the downtown traffic and everything, and it's just not worth it. You know, my car will get better than 30 miles to the gallon when I'm going through here and this way, so it kind of evens out, and it's just a whole lot less stressful. You know, it just takes me about 45 minutes to get home and about 35 to get to work in the morning. Here we are coming up into the mountains here now. As you can see, we're going up a slight incline. And the houses built down in this area. When I was a kid, this didn't exist. This was just all open desert down here. We're right on the edge of the Salt River, not the Salt River, but the Gila River Indian Reservation, and so you're not going to get a whole lot built down there. They got a casino out here that's in several miles, but see, I'm scooting right along here, you know, just there. And as we get closer to the Estrellas, you see the beauty of those desert mountains. It's just coming right up out of the desert floor, almost 3,000 feet from the, well, the base elevation's about 1,000 feet out here, and so a couple thousand feet right up out of the desert floor. Not high enough to have pine trees or anything, but it's definitely an awesome ride. This looks really great around sunset out here, the way the sun silhouettes the mountains. You know, and here we're not too far past sunrise, about an hour ago. You can already feel some warmth on my back here from the sun coming up. It's gonna be 102 today. Coming up to my favorite part of this trip here is when you start getting up through the mountain pass ahead, a small mountain pass. Unfortunately, these walls will block a little bit of the view to the right, but to the left you can see the mountains all the way down to the south. A little hazy this morning, been a lot of dust. There we go. That's awesome. That is what they call the South Mountain Range. Comes with an area, as you can see ahead, it goes up. This is an area they call Ahwatukee. I have no idea what Ahwatukee means. I'm sure it's a made-up word. There's some nice houses back in here, back nestled into the desert canyons there. Once again, the desert's in bloom out here. You can see there's some farm country out there. They're out there on the reservation. You can feel the cool air as it hits you when you hit these farm fields, been irrigated. Temperature drops about 10 degrees in like a few hundred feet. Got some truck traffic here, but it's going to not be any problem going up over the pass. So we cut through the South Mountain Range. They just built this freeway a couple of years back, probably less than 10 years ago. And it was one of those rare projects that was done ahead of schedule and under budget. It was delayed for many years because of opposition from the Indian Nation here, and they finally came to a compromise, and they built this freeway. It's very, very well needed in the valley. There's 3.5 or 3.7 million people in the Maricopa County and area, and probably 3 million of those are in the Metro Phoenix area. So it's getting to be quite a city. There's a cool little thing there, and there's a little cabin or something back in there that's been abandoned. That's a cool little thing. I wanted to hike back in there and see what that is one of these days. We're hitting the top of the pass now. And there's the Indian Casino there, and as you look out west here, or directly ahead, you see what they call the White Tank Range ahead. And then we've got the Levine area here, which is used to be a very rural area. One of the people I ride with, one of the guys I ride with, his family was like a pioneering family there in that area, and they had this house that's made entirely of river rock stone. It's still there, but they've built in around it now. But it's not a bad area. I wouldn't mind living out here. Would certainly be a lot closer to work. Again, if you look out to about the 11 o'clock position there, that heads out towards Buckeye and west, and you come back. This circles back around to I-10, which I will not be taking. Not a big fan of I-10, so I will probably turn around up here somewhere. I'm not going to go all the way into work. But anyway, this is Randytbird out here in sunny Arizona on a very nice April 30 morning. To thank you all for subscribing and watching my videos. Once again, I appreciate all the kind words you had when I was going through the ordeal with my mother passing. I really appreciate that, folks. And anyway, if you haven't subscribed, please do. I sure appreciate it. And you all have a great Sunday, and I hope things go very well for you and you get out on your bikes, and we'll talk to you again.